Hi, everyone. Welcome to First and North. My name is Lou Canellis. I'm at Fox 32 in Chicago. Joining me this week here on First and North, the voice of the Lions from Fox 2 in Detroit, Dan Miller. From Fox 6 in Milwaukee, Lily Zhao. And from Fox 9 in Minneapolis, Pierre Nugent. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you again, Pierre. Let's first run down the NFC North standings. Bears have won 5 in a row. They're tops in the NFC North, also hold the top seed in the NFC. The Bears' odds to win the NFC North are 37%. Now, the Packers are right behind the Bears by a half a game, not only for the NFC North lead, but also the top spot in the conference. But Green Bay's a bigger favorite to win the NFC North at 59%. Lions are in danger of missing the playoffs. They have not won 2 straight games since Week 5. But their only bad loss was at home to Minnesota. Vikings season, it's going to be painful down the stretch, that's for sure. Their passer rating as a team, right now the worst in football. We'll get into the details with Pierre coming up. Lily, I'll start with you. What impressed you most about the Packers' Thanksgiving Day win over the Lions?
I think it was one of their most complete team wins since that Week 1 win against the Lions at Lambeau Field. It was a team that looked prepared. They looked like they were not going to hurt themselves. That's really been the knock on the Green Bay Packers this season, is self-inflicted mistakes, a lot of penalties, them hurting themselves, but they were really aggressive in their approach. We can talk about the 4th down success that they had, which was kind of a stark contrast to what the Lions have normally been able to do against them. So they were able to execute in those really key money downs and just play really clean football. So you like the progression there, and Jordan Love just seems to love playing on Thanksgiving, always has a big game on that holiday. So it was a very well-rounded win for the Green Bay Packers, but their schedule is very tough, guys. We can talk about the schedule for every team in the NFC North, but the Packers have a brutal stretch coming up, and that starts with Chicago and you guys, Lou, on Sunday.
Yeah, 4 more touchdown passes for Jordan Love in that game. Dan, after the Thanksgiving Day showing, is there any sense of panic in Detroit right now?
I don't think there's panic, but there's definitely urgency. It's the first time really going back to 2022 that they're not controlling their own destiny, that they now need a little bit of help. They know they have to stack some wins, certainly, to get back in this thing, but they're on the outside looking in. Going into that Green Bay game, they knew they had the Packers, they had the Bears, they had the teams they needed to beat in front of them. Now they didn't get it done, so they've got to find a way to just start winning and then let the standings take care of themselves. So, Lou, it really comes down to this. They can only handle what's in front of them right now, and for them, that's the Dallas Cowboys. Really tough matchup coming up on Thursday night based on the way that they're playing right now. Everything else is out of their control, and if they're worried about that, they're thinking about the wrong thing.
Lions with a big game coming up Thursday, as Dan just mentioned, against the Cowboys. Pierre, has panic shifted to apathy in Minnesota already? Because the Vikings have not looked that bad since Brooks Bollinger was quarterback, and they were embarrassed 34-0 to the Packers. Wow. I hate to go
Who knew that would come up?
I mean, 2007. I mean, that's how bad that passing game looked. It was just a rough go in Seattle, shut out for the first time in 18 years. What do you think? What are they saying in Minneapolis right now?
Well, first and foremost, Lou, I appreciate you guys having me on, because I thought I wasn't going to get an invitation this week, because what is there really to talk about? It's been that terrible. I'm just happy to be on here with you guys. But to answer your question, really, yes, I think there is a lot of apathy going on with the team right now, especially from the fan base. There's a mix of apathy and there's a mix of anger. There's a lot of anger and passion for Minnesota Vikings fans right now, because it's directed towards the front office. It's directed towards the head coach, because clearly the Minnesota front office and this coaching staff overestimated J.J. McCarthy's ability to run this team and be a productive quarterback going into the season. That doesn't mean he won't be productive in the future, but that's currently where we stand right now. And because there was no contingency plan for J.J. McCarthy, you're left with what you're left with right now. Kudos to Max Brosmer for going out there on Sunday in Seattle and trying to give it a go, but he was left absolutely bewildered by Seattle's defense, which has been one of the top units in the NFL all season long. Max Brosmer did what he could, but this Vikings offense has just been absolutely anemic over the last couple of weeks. No touchdowns, 6 combined points in the last 2 games. That's about as bad as it gets right now, Lou.
Yeah, you're right, Pierre. And I want to talk to you about the quarterback situation coming up. Here in Chicago, I want to lay out the facts, because the Bears are 9-3 after opening up the season 0-2. After they gave away that season opener to, Pierre's Minnesota Vikings when they were playing well in the opener. And then they got their doors blown off in Detroit by Dan Miller's Lions. In other words, the Bears have won 9 of their last 10 games. And on Black Friday, this team shined in front of the world. They bullied the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles in their house in Philadelphia, where they were booing Santa Claus. And after the game, their head coach proved he is truly a man of the people.
I know you guys are hungry for more, right? Itching. Let me tell you something. The city of Chicago's hungry too. Yeah.
What have some reactions that you've heard from people to you doing the whole shirtless thing?
To be honest with you, I haven't heard anything from outside of the building. My wife was just laughing. That's about it. Yeah, I guess my 2-year-old was watching the TV screen back at home, and she's like, no shirt, no shirt. She just pointed at the screen, no shirt, no shirt. And my wife had no idea what was going on. So that's really about how that went. I think anytime you get a chance to feed a city, you want to do it. So, man of the people.
You know what I got? You know what we got? You know what I got? You know what we got? Yeah. Let me hear you, Chicago. Good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good gets better and your better gets best. 1, 2, 3, bam!
All right, for those of you watching who aren't familiar with the Wiener Circle here in Chicago, it's in the Lincoln Park neighborhood on Clark Street. Yeah, they were ready for as many as 3,000 fans to get a free hot dog today because Ben Johnson took his shirt off. I have spent many a late nights there getting the hot dog on the grill with the cheese fries, but the Bears fans came out today and ate on the house thanks to the head coach, Ben Johnson. Let me bring in, I have to ask Dan Miller quickly because, Dan, you and I talked about Ben Johnson back in April at the owners' meetings. You didn't tell me that this guy was a man of the people quite like he showed on Friday.
Well, he clearly knows how to play to the fans. I mean, look, Ben Johnson's doing some great things. That win over Philadelphia, I think, was an eye-opener for a lot of people that were waiting for Chicago to kind of fall apart with this schedule the way it stacks up down the stretch. That didn't happen. That was a great win for them. And it's a great moment for him to be able to have some fun with it. Look, these locker room scenes across the NFL have become 100% public. They all get out there. So these coaches know that they're going to put on a show. And I'm not taking anything away from what Ben did. He did a great job, man. He put the focus on the people. He put the fans in his back pocket. He got the players fired up. That was a great move by him to do that. So enjoy the moment. We'll see where it goes from here. There's some brutal schedules coming up down the stretch, as Lily alluded to, and we're going to see how some of these teams do. But right there, right then, that was a seriously good move by Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Well done.
And on the football field, the offensive line for the Bears, arguably one of the best in football right now. Their running game is at the top of the league. They're the NFL's best when it comes to taking the football away. But the Athletics Playoff Simulator gives the Bears the worst playoff odds of all NFC teams still in the playoff picture. Yes, even though they are the number 1 seed. Lily Zhao, man, it's been a roller coaster of a season for the Packers. They open up 2-0 against 2024 playoff teams. Then after Week 10, they lose back-to-back games. They scored only 20 combined points. Now they can smell the number 1 seed in the NFC. Who are the real Packers?
Well, hopefully the team everyone saw on Thanksgiving. Listen, this is a Packers team that has been searching for consistency all season long. Every team is injured this time of year as well, so injuries have played a part in kind of their up and down roller coaster ride of a year, but at a very important time, right? It's November. You got to figure this thing out. You're led by Jordan Love, who played a very good game. You're led by a really fierce defense and Micah Parsons. You have to go out there and prove it against really good teams in the NFL that you belong in that playoff Super Bowl conversation. The Green Bay Packers played their butts off against a really good Lions team, but now the test awaits with the top team in the NFC and your Bears, Lou. It's, can the Packers, they're playing at home. Can they hold the Bears on the ground? Can they rattle Caleb Williams? Can they play clean offense? We shall see, but I think, the NFC North picture could very well be determined in the next 2 weeks. So the Green Bay Packers really want to make a statement, but they believe the team that showed out on Thanksgiving is a team that they want to be moving forward and the team they will be moving forward forward the rest of the season.
Dan, no one knows the Lions better than you. Dan Campbell said that there were only 3 times in that Packers game where he thought the Lions generated pressure on Jordan Love, but Love was getting the ball out so fast. Do the Lions have a problem with their pass rush, or did Green Bay just have a real solid offensive game plan in that contest?
Both things can be true. Packers had a really good offensive plan, and the Lions, I think what he was alluding to was he thought there was 3 times where they had a chance to get a pass rush on him, and he felt like it was okay, but it wasn't good enough. And, you know, credit Jordan Love. He did get the ball out of there quickly. Credit their coaching staff. They had a great game plan. And Love has just got an uncanny ability. Aiden Hutchinson talked about it after the game, to throw off his back foot. You see him cut those loose, and you're thinking that's going to get picked off, but it somehow ends up in the hands of his receivers, including the 4th down play at the end of the game that iced it for Green Bay and prevented Detroit from getting the ball back. He really is kind of an unorthodox quarterback when it comes to that. So, look, yes, the Lions' pass rush has got to be better, and I'm not sure where that's going to come from at this point in the season because there's really nobody else walking in the door at this point. And yes, Green Bay had a heck of a game plan, and Jordan Love had a heck of a game where the Lions really needed to find a way to win. So credit to Green Bay. They came into Detroit, outplayed them, and won that game on Thanksgiving.
All right, Pierre, I want to end with you on this segment. I want you to give me a minute. Justin Jefferson's numbers, they're unlike anything I can remember seeing from Jefferson as a pro. 2 catches for 4 yards on 6 targets in the last game against Seattle. The guy is the NFL's 2nd highest paid receiver. He has just 2 touchdowns, hasn't had a 100-yard receiving day since week 5, and for the first time this season, he wouldn't talk to reporters after the game. What are you hearing about Jefferson and his anger right now?
Well, the frustration certainly has yet to boil over, and that's really the good news because Justin Jefferson has been a good soldier from the day he's gotten here. He says all the right things. He's supportive of his teammates. But you hit it right there, Lou. You said he did not speak with reporters after the game. I cannot recall a time where Justin Jefferson did not speak to reporters after a game. That just goes to show you right there where his head is at right now in terms of the frustration level, because he probably didn't want to get in front of the media and say the wrong things. He knows that Max Brosmer was thrown to the Wolves on Sunday, and you see the numbers right there for Justin Jefferson this season, and he knows he's a playmaker. It's the equivalent of having a Maserati and having it parked in the garage right now. It's really, really frustrating to see Justin Jefferson go out and run every route on Sundays, and he's running them hard, every single one. He's not taking plays off, and he's having balls that are sailed over his head. He's having balls thrown behind him. He's just not getting quality quarterback play right now, and I don't blame him whatsoever for not wanting to speak with the media because, in his words, if he says the wrong thing, he's going to get chastised for it, and I certainly can understand him not wanting to put himself in a position like that. But the frustration is absolutely at a tea kettle level right now with Justin Jefferson. It's not boiled over just yet, but it's bubbling under the surface right now, and I can't blame him. The frustration has to be there for him and every other member of this offense right now. The offense has just not been good.
All right, Pierre, thanks for the inside info. We need to take a time out. When we come back here on First and North, will the Lions have Amon-Ra St. Brown? Will the Packers get back Lucas Van Ness? We'll discuss coming up next. Welcome back to First and North. I'm Luke Canellis at Fox 32 in Chicago. Dan Miller is at Fox 2 in Detroit. Lily Zhao, Fox 6 in Milwaukee, and Pierre Nugent, Fox 9 in Minneapolis. All right, guys, game of the week. We've been talking about it. Bears visit to Lambeau against the Packers. Since Ben Johnson took the job, much has been made of the relationship between Johnson and head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, especially after Johnson's introductory press conference with the Bears.
I know this is the toughest division of football right now. There's 3 teams that made the playoffs this year. I've got tremendous amount of respect for the coaches and the players in this league. Having competed against them for the last 6 years. Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell, you're talking about 2 guys that are up for Coach of the Year awards as the season ends here. And to be quite frank with you, I kind of enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year.
Do you have beef with Coach Johnson?
I was waiting for this. I don't know Ben Johnson.
So do you have beef?
Do I have beef? I don't know Ben Johnson. I respect him as a football coach. I think he did a nice job.
Yeah, but do we not feeling the same thing right now?
Yeah, well, yeah.
But if you don't know him, why is it tight in here?
It's not tight. I'm not tight.
Who's tight? I guess I'm just tight.
Yeah.
My fault.
I thought it was interesting.
What was interesting?
I thought the press conference was interesting, but I don't have beef with him. I don't get it all into that stuff. I thought it was.
But you'll harness it.
He'll see the eye emojis after a win. You'll send.
I don't have his number, so that won't happen.
You gonna Jim Harbaugh him after a game?
No,
you beat him?
I would never do that.
In the introductory press conference you had when you got hired, you said you had enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. Why was it important for you to get across the Packer rivalry to the fan base?
Yeah,
touch on it, I guess.
It's a big week. It's a big week. We know how important this rivalry is, so I just wanted to address that.
Lily, can you add any insight into how Matt LaFleur feels about Ben Johnson?
Well, first of all, it's Ben Johnson knowing how to play to the Bears crowd. You got to bring up the Green Bay Packers in one form or fashion, right? And, it was just interesting. He compliments Dan Campbell, compliments Kevin O'Connell. Then Matt LaFleur's like, why am I catching strays in your introductory press conference? And, to Matt LaFleur's credit, he says, I don't know the man, so why am I getting my name called out? But listen, it adds to the rivalry, but I just thought that Ben Johnson's comments were interesting on Monday when he said, it was just addressing the rivalry. Well, you put it out there, and now we've been talking about it for a long time now. So just kind of say you wanted to, really play to the Bears folks. I think that would have been just fine.
Yeah, he's playing to the Bears crowd, the Bears fans, that's for sure. Hey, Dan, how crushing was the Frank Ragnow news?
Pretty crushing, because I think not only were people thinking about this year, but next year, which we still don't know if it's off the table or not. But one moment Frank is coming back, the next moment he's got a grade 3 hamstring tear and he's not coming back. So, when you go from getting one of the best players in the National Football League back in a position and on an offensive line that can use the help, to him not coming back, that's significant. So it was a roller coaster of emotions for Lions fans. Believe me, when they saw the Lions put out the picture of Frank running out of the tunnel, and it was like, really? It was huge, and then it was gone. So you move forward. That's just kind of the way life is in the National Football League. It wasn't expected, but it was just a wild ride there for about 24 to 36 hours, guys. And there's going to be no Frank Ragnow coming to help them this year. We'll have to wait and see what happens after this, but they're going to have to go. Like I said earlier, there's nobody walking through that door, and it's not going to be Frank Ragnow. Now we know that.
Hey, Dan, let me keep it with you. Amon-Ra St. Brown left the Packers game, ankle injury, wasn't at practice Monday, didn't practice Tuesday. Do you think he'll play Thursday? And if not, how are the Lions going to handle his loss?
They are going to take it to the moment where they know that he cannot play. He didn't practice. So he has not practiced at all this week, but this is a different dude when you're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. If he can possibly get out there, he will. If they know for sure the day before, they'll declare him out. But if this thing shows improvement like it did from yesterday to today, if it shows improvement again on Wednesday, they're going to keep hope open until Thursday and take it up to game time. So it really just depends on if he continues to progress. If there is any way he can get out there, Amon-Ra St. Brown will get out there, and the Lions will exhaust every opportunity to do that, keeping his health and safety and that ankle in mind as they move forward.
All right, Pierre, I want to go back to you about the quarterback position in Minnesota. Whose final call was it to go into this season with J.J. McCarthy, Max Brosmer, and then Carson Wentz, and how in the world did the franchise...
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can I jump in and ask a question? Because you guys talking about this has just made me think. And Pierre, I don't mean to pile on, but has there ever been a team, and I ask this honestly, in NFL history that had two quarterbacks leave and they both make the playoffs, assuming that they both will, and the team that they left doesn't make the playoffs? Is that not fascinating? Because both Jones and Darnold...
get on the horn with Yeah, I would have to get on the horn with Elias on that one, Dan, to try to figure that one out. Because, it is absolutely crazy. And then you consider the fact that No, but seriously, you have to really consider, especially in training camp, when they traded draft picks for Sam Howell, and then 2 weeks later, they trade Sam Howell away to Philadelphia, so they just threw away draft picks trying to get Sam Howell. Max Brosmer was brought in as an undrafted free agent. He leapt Sam Howell and Brett Rippon on the depth chart, which kudos to Max for doing that. But they went into the season with Carson Wentz, who was signed at the last minute, with J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, and Max Brosmer. And Carson Wentz, try as he might, we've seen what Carson Wentz has been over the last 6 years, so I'm not sure how he has established any type of confidence with an NFL front office for you to bring him in as your backup quarterback. This thing has been absolutely botched from the get-go. Last year in training camp, J.J. McCarthy was certainly pushing Sam Darnold for that starting job, but we haven't seen that guy since training camp. I haven't seen that guy since training camp. And going into the season, of course, J.J. McCarthy has proven absolutely nothing in this league. But, of course, they took him 10th overall. They had a lot of confidence going into the season with him. They still have confidence in his ability to potentially be the franchise quarterback. But the lack of a contingency plan that was placed on this team for this exact situation is really roster malpractice, if we're being completely honest with you, because you could have brought Daniel Jones back on a cheaper deal, but you told him that he would not be the starter going in. Why? Why were you so sure to hand over the reins to J.J. McCarthy when he hasn't proven anything in this league? That's really been the baffling decision. And to answer Lou's question as to whose fault it is, I think everybody deserves a share of the blame. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah deserves a share of the blame. Kevin O'Connell, who has kind of made the rounds, I shouldn't say made the rounds, but has garnered a reputation of being a quarterback whisperer, quote unquote. And to his credit, he's done tremendous work with quarterbacks since he's been here in Minnesota. So there was a lot of belief that he could do the work with J.J. McCarthy. That hasn't transpired yet. So these two guys, Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, share an equal amount of the blame because we are in a disaster period right now with the Minnesota Vikings, and we don't know if J.J. McCarthy is going to be the answer. We're going to find out the rest of the season if he can show us something going into the next season, but right now we're left with nothing.
Back after this here on First and North. Week 14 in the NFC North. Lions host the Cowboys Thursday night football. Vikings host the Commanders early Sunday afternoon. I'll start with Dan Miller. Dan, why will the Lions not lose back-to-back games?
Lou, they haven't lost back-to-back games since October 30th, 2022. Longest streak in the league. I've been throwing that out for a long time. I hope I can still throw it out after Thursday night. They've got to be better rushing the passer. They're down two guys in the secondary, Terry and Arnold. Kirby Joseph will not play. You got Pickens, you got CeeDee Lamb. You got to find some way to make Dak throw that ball, make a mistake. Haven't scored a point off a turnover in 7 weeks. That used to be their bread and butter. They got to get back to playing the way they were playing when they're winning. Maybe they have to outscore Dallas. That means the offense has to be better. But it's got to be better than what we've seen recently to avoid a loss against a very hot Cowboy team. They're capable. We need to see it.
Right here on Fox, America's Game of the Week, Bears-Packers, Lambeau Field, 325. How tough a ticket is it at Lambeau Field for this game on Sunday, Lily?
Very tough ticket. It's going to be a fantastic game, a Packers-Bears game that means something, and the second one will be in prime time on Fox as well. And so it's going to be a very big 2 weeks of football for both franchises. But I think a lot rides on Matt LaFleur calling a good game. You talked about Ben Johnson earlier in the show, and Matt LaFleur really calls a good game when he feels like there's a chip on his shoulder. So I expect the Packers to have a flawless game plan against a very tough Bears team.
All right, everyone. Great show as always. For Dan, Pierre, Lily, and our entire crew, I'm Lou Canellis. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on First and North.